pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call this meeting to order at 7:01. Deputy Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Bond Crooks.
Here.
Benedetti.
Here.
Howie.
Present.
LaFever. Perugi.
Here.
Arzeppa.
Here.
Stack.
Here.
Former President Mayor Stack.
Thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we excuse Councilperson LaFever.
Support.
Since moved and supported, is there any? Oh, sorry. It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Could I just ask for one thing, because the family asked, and I forgot to do this right after the Pledge of Allegiance. We had a past gentleman that had passed in the last couple of weeks, I guess you could say. He was really involved in hockey when it first started. His name's Ray Martiniak, and he's Ray Martiniak Sr. If we could have a moment of silence, the gentleman put in quite a bit of time, effort, and to help with the Hockey Association and supporting that with sponsoring teams and being available for, I think he did some coaching too at the beginning. So if we could have a moment of silence. Thank you. His, I think it's a memorial service will be this Saturday from 9:30 to noon at Martinson's. So check Martinson's website so that you get the proper times, but I believe that's the time that I had gotten. Okay, first thing on the agenda here is to the minute approval for August 19th, regular meeting.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Next item on the agenda is Downtown Development Authority. I'm reappointing Jim Schrapp to the Downtown Development Authority for a term expiring September 1st, 2022.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Deputy Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Benedetti.
Yes.
Howie.
Yes.
LaFever. Perugi.
Yes.
Arzeppa.
Yes.
Stack.
Abstain?
Bond Crooks.
Yes.
Motion carried, Mayor Stack.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, we go all the way to department heads and officials. Fire Chief, regarding an ambulance purchase. Chief Creech, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before you have some background information on the requested purchase of a new ambulance for the fire department. I did include information on past repairs and everything we've had with our current fleet. We'd be sending our third ambulance, which is 14 years old, that would be traded in, and purchasing a new Horton ambulance on a Ford F550 chassis. And we should be able to take delivery within 30 days. Also included in this is a stretcher and mount, which you guys know is quite expensive. This really came to light in the last year because of all the repairs we've had to do over the last 36 months, but on the two older units. So I'm requesting a replacement of the ambulance. It is a demo model too. So.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Discussion? Councilman Howie?
Just a couple questions. First, Chief, thanks for all the detailed information you submitted, and it's interesting you put $90,000 for 3 vehicles for 3 years, and it brings me back to our budget when we spent over $90,000 per trash truck for $270,000 per 1 year. But I would like to see, I can't stand paying the interest if it's possible. Maybe administration can tell us if we just would pay it off without having, I know there's the delayed interest, but if it's 14, 15 grand, that could be money well spent. We could possibly do HVAC over at the Westfield or other areas. That's question one. Question two is $6,000 for the turn-in. That just seems like it's really low.
Yeah, I've checked the market for used ambulances, which is really a sad market. But for a 15-year-old ambulance, and you have to remember our ambulance, the condition it's in, and the amount of repairs and everything count against it. Being on Michigan roads, the extra corrosion and everything associated with it is in pretty rough shape. However, if you put it comparative to other ambulances available, same type of time frame and things associated with it, it probably, its fair market value is probably in the $10,000 to $12,000 range. But just like when we sold the engine, I could market it, but I'm gonna the $6,000 to maybe get on the high end $10,000 out the door after I be done paying for transportation or the brokerage fees or anything like that. It's my opinion, it's $6,000 we should take. The four offers I had were $42.50, $48.52, and $6, and we are taking the highest one.
Okay, all right, thank you. And I'm just wondering if we can amend the motion to include the review and approval by the city attorney, Mr. Long.
The contract?
Contract
the
agreement and the
Okay.
terms and conditions.
Sure. Is that okay with the maker?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I guess we need to say where this is gonna come from. So I'm looking at my controller thinking, we gonna look at fund balance, do you think?
That, I think, would be our only option. If we're going to pay outright, yes.
So do you want to include in your, because right now, the motion you just said so moved, it doesn't say, it's going with what's written down as to what we're going to go with
We can
a,
amend that motion and pay, I think we should take the money out of fund balance like Bob. We were talking before the meeting, and I agree that I don't want to pay the $15,000 interest if we don't have to, so I'd say take it out of fund balance.
okay, so the maker was you and the supporter was Stephen?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah, okay,
Perhaps there could be an amendment, since we did get the check from Wayne County. I mean, we could split that part of that check. That to take the 200+ thousand for that.
It's in fund balance.
That it went in fund balance, but
That's right, it's already in there.
would be allocated for this.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, so the amendment is to, instead of it going through the leasing, the tax exempt leasing, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go straight out of general, or the fund balance, okay? Is everybody okay with that? Okay. Okay. Any other discussion on this matter? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Chief, you got a new ambulance coming.
Thank you very, very much. Much appreciated.
You have to understand that when he came to talk to me, there was one broken out in front of City Hall. I said, I think you staged that. Okay, so as it stands, that's the only item on the agenda, except now we go to disbursements and statements, and I'll go to Mayor Pro Tem Howie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd move to approve the authorized disbursements September 3rd, 2019, in the amount of $577,925.82.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Also, the reports, Mayor Pro Tem Howie, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd move to receive and place on file the Fire and Police Pension Board meeting minutes, July 24th, 2019, and the Zoning Board of Appeals and Adjustment Public Hearing and regular meeting minutes, July 18th, 2019.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. And do you have anything else for this evening? Okay. Comments from the council, and Councilman LaFever was going to be first, so now it's Councilman Peruggi.
Madam Mayor, I don't have anything this evening.
Okay. Councilman Howie?
I have a couple items, not surprisingly. First, I'm still waiting to hear when we're going to sit down and talk about the closure of the Trenton Power Plant and the DTE and how it's going to affect the city services for the future. Wondering if Mr. Church can give us a quick update on what's happening with the Riverside Hospital site. Is there anything that you can inform the residents?
Yes, I can. We did have an appearance in Circuit Court since our last meeting. There's a date of, I believe, September 20th that the judge has ordered the owner of the property to demonstrate and certify that they have abated and they're in full code compliance, that there are no blight or property maintenance deficiencies according to the Michigan Building Code. That needs to be certified and agreed to by the City of Trenton building official. If those parties are in agreement that they've been abated, then at least the abatement issue or the blight nuisance issue is resolved. Doesn't do anything to determine the future of the site, however. If, however, the party does not certify that they are in compliance, the court reserved the right to appoint a receiver and said the receiver would maintain or hold the power to either order correction of any deficiencies, could order the demolition of the property, or could order the sale of the property.
Okay, thank you. Just a couple other quick items. I'm wondering if perhaps if the administration or perhaps maybe the city engineer, just curious, some residents have asked me, what's happening with the construction site or the lack thereof off of King Road, just adjacent to the fire station number 2. Seems like that has stalled.
He has it up for sale. And it's a astronomical amount. I don't think he's ever going to get it, but he cannot proceed. He's had problems either with contractors or contractors have had problems with him. I don't really know. I don't know the true story behind it, but he's got it up for sale. And I've called him to try to get him to come and clean it up. So we're going to have to start citing him because it's getting ridiculous.
Shoot, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Another question, just wondering, maybe it's for you, Madam Controller, is when will we have the review by Plant Moran for the 2018-2019 fiscal? Or do we have a date on it?
It would be sitting right there.
Uh-oh, that's exactly what I was hoping would not be the
know
case.
It is. Let me see.
Is there any way we can move that up so the second meeting in October?
Trying to think. I have it in my calendar.
I believe that is penciled in for the December 2nd meeting.
Yes, it
is
is.
the current, is what I'm showing in my calendar.
Yes.
Shoot, that's disappointing. They won't be disappointed, but
Well, you can still show up.
Yeah, you can.
well, I'd like to.
I'll
It's
take
prob-
notes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, and then finally, I don't know if Mayor and Council, if you had a chance to read in the Sunday's Detroit News. There's a article. I got a copy for everybody here. I'm not going to read the whole article. Just wanted to read the title: Michigan cities must tackle pension debt. I'm just going to read the first sentence or two. Unfunded liabilities, including pensions, remain one of the biggest drags on communities in Michigan. While local governments must follow through on constitutionally protected pensions promises, they need to ensure they're creating a more sustainable financial path. Wow. That sound familiar?
It's hard to fix something that was already created, though, so that's
Oh,
what some of the problem is.
You know what? I've said right from the get-go, a lot of the burden, I mean, this was 25, 30 years ago. It's a legacy cost, but it's not just our community, it's a lot of communities.
Sure.
I totally understand that. But I just think it's out there. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Zappa?
So I actually just had one question. It was related to Mr. Scherer's response to Councilperson Howie about the hospital. So you had mentioned the 3 potential avenues after, I can't remember what the name of the person was that.
Receiver.
Receiver,
if,
yes.
If a receiver were appointed.
Receiver were appointed. You had mentioned one of them being demolition. Does that specify who pays for the demolition? Or is that possible for them to do? Because, I mean, I think we've all talked about this a whole bunch here, that if we were to get to that point, that we're looking at millions and millions of dollars in demolition costs.
Yes, that's a very good question. Something we've made clear through our legal representatives at council, or at the in the court chambers. Our understanding is the judge would have the ability to assign a lien against the property. We do not have an answer of who pays those charges as they're incurred until that lien would appear anyway.
Okay, that's good to know. That's all for me tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Von Crooks?
Just one thing, I know everybody had a chance to go through the alley downtown. Is there any consensus of what the council feels about paving that, or asphalting that alley or whatever? I'd like to hear from
I went down there
everyone.
again, actually this afternoon, and there was a couple neighbors I did talk to out there. A lot of the holes have already been filled. There's still a couple of holes left. And I happen to agree with our city engineer. I mean, we got to be careful. If we fix one problem, it may create another problem. Sometimes it's the unintended consequences. To just taking a look at where the elevation, the garage floor slabs of some of those houses, and I should let him articulate it. He can articulate it better than I can, but those garage floor slabs are lower than the pavement, and if you put a hard surface material in there, that water's just going to rush down, and we may create other problems. And to put in storm sewers in there, that's going to be quite
They
an
don't need
expense. But
From what I understand, they don't need sewers. There's not a sewer problem under there.
they said they'd be happy with just fill the potholes.
They did
smooth
say
them out.
that?
Well, the two that I talked to, that was on the far south side, it was like the second to last house towards Elizabeth Park. That was today. But, I don't know who else is screaming, but there's always, somebody's got an idea.
Oh, I think the gravel's just going to, I mean, not that I'm saying we have to asphalt it right away, but I think that gravel is just going to wash away and do just what it's been doing all these last 4 or 5 years that these people have been plagued with this. So, I mean, it's not a good situation, but, it's got to be a consensus vote here. So maybe Mr. Hogan could tell us his opinion or what you think, or...
As mentioned, it's a complicated situation, and just to put this to rest, it goes way beyond just simply asphalting it. In fact, to finesse the elevations the way we would need to, it would probably require concrete, which is, again, a more premium surface than some of our other applications. It would... I totally agree. It'd be nice to be able to pave it. It's going to take a detailed analysis of the backyards, the garage approaches, and trying to connect the ends of the street so that we can get the water out. The worst thing we would want to end up with is flooded garages, ponded water in the backyards, or ice in these paved areas. So I would suspect it's always been gravel. And 2 or 3 years ago, I think, because of the multitude of applying gravel, we raised the grade. We cut it back to what we thought was possibly the original elevation, and it's performed pretty well. It will always need touch-ups. The spring was horrendous. Right now, it's not too bad. But if someone's expecting a hard surface, it's going to require quite a bit of work. It's also going to require quite a bit of cost. Our preliminary estimate's over $100,000, and that would include a storm sewer. So
Okay. Well,
it's something to be budgeted. We're more than happy to design it. That's why we're here.
I think these people that have lived down there with this problem for a long time deserve an answer. So maybe the mayor and administration can get back with them and give them the answer, of what's going to happen, because they're constantly calling and,
Yep.
having us down there, so
We-
they deserve a final answer.
That's true, and there are other alleys that are probably in the same condition. So it would be a start of mini projects.
There's a lot of alleys back there with the fences falling down and laying half in the alleys, and I never saw anything like it down there. And so I think we need to get on the site, those people too that need to fix their fences and pull out all those shrubs that are laying half in the alley, and
I reported that this morning.
yeah, because it was bad.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Councilman Peruggi, did you have something with that?
Yes, Mr. Hogan, just to have a better understanding, what's the scope of other alleys that may be similar to this? 5, 10, 20, 30?
The number of alleys that we have?
That would require us to potentially go from gravel to
We did a
another
study. We
surface.
have a list. Off the top of my, let's just say 10.
Okay.
depending on the length, you know, what you want to consider a segment.
Okay.
But there's several.
All right.
Any other questions on that? Thank you, Mr. Hogan. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Benedetti?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay. I have two things. First of all, I'd like to thank the Trenton High School hockey team for helping us out at North McLeod with the spreading it at the playscape of the mulch around the equipment. I did write a letter to Chad Clements to let him know that we really appreciated all their help, and they got it done in a real quick, timely manner. I think they were there quite a short time because of all the people that were there. Also, the animal shelter is looking for, they're in need of cat litter, non-clumping, clay, it says clay non-clumping, laundry soap, HE only, disinfecting wipes, trash bags, pine sol, and also carpet squares, which I'll call our local carpet company and see if they have some squares that they can donate over there. But I stopped by there the other day just to see what was going on, and they informed me of those different things. They always have a list, but those are the things that they're needing most. Okay, so Deputy Clerk, do you have anything this morning or this afternoon?
Just that the next regular council meeting will be Monday, September 16th at 7 p.m.
Okay, good. Our city assessor, Mr. Delk, was have anything? City treasurer? Nothing tonight. Okay. Any department heads, anything they'd like to report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a couple of things. Sunday, September 15th is our annual Somewhere in Time event at Elizabeth Park. We co-sponsor this with Wayne County. It will be from 11 until 5. Mark your calendars. It should be a beautiful Sunday afternoon at the park. And citywide garage sale. The fall garage sale is Saturday and Sunday, September 21st and 22nd. If you'd like to be on the map with your sale, the deadline is September 13th. Just contact the Parks and Recreation office. And finally, just a reminder that our MacArthur Park Fall Planting Day is scheduled for Wednesday, October 3rd, and we will be starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you're interested, you can contact our office or visit the website to sign up. Thank you.
And they're going to be doing plantings there, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. We'll be planting perennial plants on that day.
Okay, very good.
Thanks.
Anyone else have anything for the council? If not, I'll go to the public. If you'd like to speak to the council, please state your name and address for the record. If you'd like to join us at the podium. Nobody? Ma'am, you have anything? Because you're new here. I haven't seen you around. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. 7:25. Thank you.